Alright, so today I am going to have a tutorial on how to contour for big nose, wide nose. Yeah, I didn't want to make YouTube videos for the longest time because of my nose, because I don't like my nose, and I thought everybody was going to notice how big my nose was. Like, even though I think it's just in my head, but for me my nose is pretty big. So yeah, I don't like it. So I wanted to make a video and show you guys how I contour my nose and how I get it to look slimmer, I guess. Okay, so if you want to see what that's about, don't go anywhere and I'll be right back. Alright ladies, so like I said before the intro, this video is going to be about how to contour your nose for people who have wide nose, large nose, however you want to describe your nose. But yeah, if you have a nose like mine or bigger, it is what it is. My thing is, after looking at Tamar and Nene, I definitely think that rhinoplasty is not for black people. Yeah, that's just crazy. But when you have makeup, you're able to give your nose the shape you would want for it to have, you know, without having to resort to plastic surgery. So yeah, and I wanted to share that with you guys because I think it could help a lot of people. So the way I contour my nose, there are 3 different ways you could actually contour your nose. The first way you could highlight your nose that you probably have seen before is when people only highlight from here to here. Now, that technique, when it comes to big nose or wider noses, I don't think it's good, because if you highlight from here to here, see, you don't have enough of a bone to kind of give you a slender nose. It comes off as if like your nose just came out of here, like some bone just came out and this is just like like there's a bone right here and it's just protruding out of your face. Okay, and that's something I don't like. And by that, this is what I'm talking about. Let me just use some concealer so you can see. When people just highlight like this. Okay, people just highlight this part. Now, if you see what this does, even if you were to contour, and I'm going to contour, I'm just going to take this pencil for the sake of time. Okay, so let's just say I was to contour like this. And I was to contour like this. You get the gist, okay? See, when you contour like that, what about all this extra meat right here? You see? That's still there, and it's still not cute. So I don't really like that. This is what I call the bark of the tree. This method right here for wide nose, for a wide nose or for a big nose, I don't suggest it, because if anything, it makes your face look wider. Like, look at this. It made my face look wider like that, and I don't like that. Okay? So if your nose is wide, I don't recommend you use that technique. What I would say, if you actually have a longer bone, say you have a bone like the nose of your bone actually like comes out here and you only highlight that section, it makes more sense because you have more length for you to play the illusion of having a slender nose. Okay, but when your nose is wide, it's usually not, it's also short, so you want to keep that in mind. Okay, now the other technique that I like, I personally call it the tree of life. I told my friend Ferris about that. He laughed. And I was like, that's how I call it. This is the tree of life. Now, I'm just going to show you how I do it. Okay. So, when I highlight my nose, or when I do my highlight, what I like to use my concealers by Dermablend. Okay. I have this shade and I have the lighter shade. They're like right next to each other. So, if you go buy them, they're like adjacent colors. So this one first and then that one. Bam, bam. Okay? And the reason why I like to use the dermablend colors is to do like my nose, for example, is because I am oily to combination skin. So my T-zone is very oily. If I was to use something like this, Select Sheer Cover, it's too sheer. It's not going to last throughout the day. Like, my nose is going to leak. Okay? If I use this one, which is the, which one is this called? This is like the one, the holy grail of concealers when it comes to MAC, right? This one right here, it's also of a medium consistency. Being oily skin, like having the T-zone that's very oily, this one right here is also going to what? To leak. So that my nose is going to start throughout the day. My contour is, my highlight is going to shift to the right or shift to the left. Girl, no. That is not the business, okay? So these ones by Dermablend are actually very thick. So they stay on all day. They don't, like my nose is not going to shift, okay? So this is that. And I like to mix these two colors. Now, when it comes to your highlight, you're going to have to be okay with trial and error. Like, you'll just get better at like knowing how much of the darker one to use and how much of the lighter one to use. You just have to play with it, and you'll see. You'll play with it, you'll take pictures with it. Some days it'll look too light, some days it'll look too dark. But the more you do it though, the better you'll be at mixing your own shade. So I won't even try to tell you to say, oh, take a little bit of this, take more of this. Everything depends on your complexion, okay? I'm a MAC NW45, so I will mix more of this and then a little bit of that, okay? But you don't want it to be too dark. You still want it to be a little light because you're going to tame this down as well, okay? So it does need to be light for it to stand out, but not like ghostly pale, okay? So as with everything, like when you have concealers like that, don't stick your finger in there. Use a spatula or a spoon or something, okay? And what I like to do, I like to use the back of a makeup palette. So let's put some here, okay? And then take the darker color. Let's put some right here, okay? And what you want to do, you want to mix the two. So, but don't go ahead and mix it like the way you want to mix it. Okay, hold on. So don't just go ahead and start mixing like crazy. The way you want to mix it, right? So say you're like my shade. So you know you don't want it to be ghostly pale, right? So take a little bit of the lighter one, a little bit, and start mixing. Alright? Then you're like, this is not light enough. So you take a little bit more and you start mixing. Alright? You repeat the process until you get something that's like maybe 2 shades lighter than your skin. Okay? So let me do that. Okay. And like I said, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. Alright. Now, the tree of life, when I do it, the bark of the tree, I usually do that with my finger. So I'm going to do this. Once you have the color you want, break it down like that. And the nice thing about breaking down the concealer with your fingers is that because of the heat and because Dermablend, these concealers are so thick, the heat in your finger is actually going to melt the concealer. And when you melt the concealer, it's actually easier for you to work with it. Okay? Alright, good. So then you want to do the bark of the tree. So the bark of the tree is going to be like this. Alright, and trust your finger. Don't be afraid. Trust your finger. Alright. So here's the bark of the tree of life. Okay. Now what you want to do, you also want to take it up. Now this is usually how people see it, like how it's usually done, right? So you take it up like this. Gently. Because like if you're like me, you've already done your brows, so you want to be careful not to mess that up. Alright, and the tree of life, when it goes up, you go with the bark, and it's like it needs to open up like a V like that. Okay, and if you need more concealer, use more. Don't be afraid like, oh my god, this is so pale, but we're not done yet. Make sure your highlight is perfect. Alright, okay, then you go up like that. Okay, you go up like that. So that's one way, and then you have to get in here and fix it, but I'm just showing you the overall idea. So that's that. So that's the tree of life. You can also add more here, okay, if you want. You may have to redo the contour of your brows. Well, you're most likely going to have to do it anyways, but whatever. So like that. Okay, so that's the head of the tree. It's like a little cloud, right? And then here is the bark of the tree. Okay. Allow me to fix this part right here. Alright. Okay. So that's the tree of life. That's how I call it. I think when you think of it as a tree, it's actually easier. So that's technique number 2. Now, with the tree of life, what you could actually do, you can actually leave it as a tree, or on other days, you can also give it like 2 arms. That means you can give it 1 arm, which would be like to highlight underneath your brow a second time, and and highlight here as well. So I'm gonna do that. And the arms that you give the tree of life don't have to be like super wide. Alright, that's the first arm. Okay, and the second arm will be right here. Alright. Okay. Alright. So now you have the head of the tree, and then the tree has 2 arms like that, and here's the bark of the tree. Now when you really see, when you highlight your face, that's why I would say this. When you highlight your face, you have to know your face. Don't just go and start doing the Kim Kardashian stuff, because especially if you're black, you probably have a nose like similar to mine, okay? So you have to highlight your face in a way that it makes sense for your features, okay? And the thing is, we as black women, or especially me being African, we usually have a wider nose, you know. You want to also embrace that. You don't really want to run away from it. So highlight your face, highlight your nose in a way that makes sense, and in a way that is going to preserve your symmetry, and in a way that is also going to bring some kind of definition to your face. But you should still try to remain true to your cultural DNA. Makes sense? Alright, now that we're done doing the tree of life, we want to now do the whole contour part of the nose, right? Because we just highlighted the nose, now we want to contour the nose. So, usually, you can do it, and the thing is with the contour, you can do it with powder, you can do it with foundation. I actually do it twice. I contour my face twice. The first time I contour my face, I do it with foundation. This is the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet. The shade is the darkest shade they came up with. So that's that. So always use, I really like to use the back of my hand, okay? And you can use a lot. You don't have to use like a little bit. Use a lot of it, like this much, okay? Then I like to take this brush. This brush is the Beauty Essentials. They sell this brush at CVS. Yes, guys, CVS. And I like to take this whole side and work with it. But before we get to that part though, usually when black girls highlight their nose, when they contour their nose actually, right, this is what they do. This is a black girl's contour. Like this. Okay, you tell me if I'm wrong, but usually when I see a black girl contour her nose, this is it. That's it. That's her contour, but usually it's with powder, and that's it. But my thing is this: if your nose is as big as mine, what about all this extra meat right here? And then when it comes to her cheeks, this is what she's going to do. She'll take some concealer, and then she'll do this. They start up by drawing the V. Like, no, I really want you to see what I'm talking about here. They start by drawing the V. I don't know where they got that from. They just draw the V like that, right? You know you've seen this. If you've seen this technique before, please hit the like button. Alright? They'll do this. They'll draw a V. That's the highlight for a black woman. Okay. Now, I'm not even trying to be mean, okay? Because makeup You have to see somebody do it wrong for you to kind of improve and whatever, okay? But if you have a nose like myself, right, and you do the whole tree of life, and then you do the little contour with either the powder or the darker foundation like this, and then you draw these triangular V's or whatever, do you see what happens to my nose? Like, you just made your nose look bigger, because now instead of my nose being from here to here, it seems like my nose is like from here to here, okay? And that's not what you want to do. Heck no. You want to take the where is this? Take the dark foundation, and I do recommend you highlight first. I do recommend that you contour first with the foundation, okay? Take this brush, take this side of the brush, go like this, rub it against the back of your hand until it gets kind of dry. Like, you don't want it to be liquid anymore, it needs to be like dry, okay? Once you have that, and imagine you've already done this, you do this with the smaller brush, okay? You do this with the foundation with the smaller brush. Then once you have the product here, take the product down, like cover your nose. All the meat on the side, all that fat, whatever that is, cover it. Cover it. Like this. Come on. Let me shine. And go here too. And you know where you should also go? If you need more inspiration on how to really contour and highlight for a wider nose, I really recommend that you watch The Lion King. Because Mufasa, people are going to be like, you're crazy. I'm not crazy. When you look at Mufasa, when you look at Simba, you'll see like their contour, or Nala's contour is amazing. They're like, they do it in such a way, that's how you should freaking contour your face. So you go here, this socket right here, put this here. This socket right here, put this here. Now, if you're like me, where one brow is higher than the other, please keep in mind your symmetry so that it doesn't look like your face is like slanted to the side, okay? Good. Hopefully I'm doing this right, because I'm looking here. Alright, but cover your face, ladies. I mean, cover your nose. Yeah, even if it looks like a dark spot on your face, that's fine. And that's exactly what it should look like. And this is how we're going to make this big nose seem smaller. And you can also go back and look at my videos, and you'll see, you look at my pictures, you'll see. That's where my nose went. Disappeared. Okay. Good. Alright. So now your nose is darker, and I'm exaggerating a bit so you can actually see. But just making your nose darker, it kind of, see, now when you look at my nose, it looks like the socket right here, it looks like this. Like that. Like, all this meat is just disappeared, right? And so if I take my concealer, I like to take the sponge for this, okay? So, I take my concealer now. Yeah. And when you put your concealer, and that's the thing, I really do recommend that you work with this sponge, okay? Because when you work with the sponge, it's so much easier to work for your contour. And just going over, say you've applied the concealer here, right? Just going over the rest of the product that's on the sponge, over that part that you've made darker. You see that? And go in here too. Go here. Okay, I'm just gonna blend this quickly. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you just need to take the rest of the concealer that's on the brush and just go. Don't go over all of it. Just leave that line, but just go over it so it's not like super black. It's not like super, you know, like it doesn't look like there's mud there. Okay, and when you do this, also go up. I don't want you to have like that line that just like goes like this with concealer. That's just weird. Always blend like this. I will have another video on how I contour and highlight, but just keep this in mind. You always want to take your concealer all the way over here, and then you go up the side of your brows, okay? Contouring and highlight is not about dividing your face into compartments. It all needs to flow. It needs to flow, okay? So see, my nose looks like Michael Jackson when he first had his nose job and it was super cute. Or Janet Jackson when she first had her nose job and it was super cute, okay? Alright. Oh, this even good. Alright. So you see that? You see? Now it's like, ooh, her nose looks smaller, okay? And this part here, just dab onto it so it looks chiseled. Bam. Baby. Michelangelo wished he had my skills when he was doing Moses and David. Haha. He sure did. See? That's why I said look at Mufasa. Alright, so you do this part. Now, the next thing you want to do is you also want to set this, okay? The highlight for my cheek is not completely perfect, but that's not the point of this video. So, I'm going to leave that here. So, to set your concealer, especially something as thick as dermablend, you want to use like a setting powder. I don't use the Ban 9 banana powder because people were just, it became like a horde, and I just don't do mob mentality. And the thing is, this really, because I use the dermablend concealer, this works well with it. This is the Cool Beige, just a setting powder, and it works wonderfully. I think I've done enough videos and taken enough pictures for you to be judge of that, okay? So you want to take some, and when you take some, I like to use with these wedges. I think these wedges are perfect. Why? Because the wedges allow you to get in, like inside the nooks and crannies of your face, okay? So let's just do this right here. And the reason why I'm doing my face like I'm doing underneath my eyes is because this area goes hand in hand with contouring and highlighting your nose, okay? So now what you want to do, and this is why I like the wedge, because it's cut so sharp around the edges here. What you want to do now is go over that black part again, okay? You can also go inside, like right here. If you need more product, take more product, but first press it onto your hand so you don't use like, so you don't have excess product. You see how my nose is starting to disappear? And then, I hope it is. I hope you think it disappears, right? And then you also want to dab some here. And I like to dab some here because I am oily skinned. So, doing this also helps with the oils. Alright? And when you do this, you may lose a little bit of the sharpness of your contour, but that's okay. We're not done yet. Okay, take it here. Bring it here also. Okay, go like this. You remember, that's like the head of your tree. You want to press some here as well. Okay. Alright, good. To dust this off your face. So either you can use this one. This is from the Sedona Lace. This is a big fan from Sedona Lace. Or this one is the dermablend brush. Okay. I'm going to use the dermablend brush first. You don't have to buy this. I just like to buy brushes. Like that. Dust this off. Dust this off. Alright, and then dust it up here too. Okay. Then you can use your fan to buff it even more. The nice thing about using the fan, it really gets rid of the lines. Like if you have any lines between the concealer and this, the concealer and that, like it really helps get rid of lines. Then after that, we're going to take our powder. Now this powder is the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet. This was the 214. Now they changed everything, but I still have a little bit of it. So I'm going to use it. And for my powder, because I am oily skin, I like to apply my powder with these sponges, whatever, they like this. Buy these at Sally's. What you want to do like this. I mean, just imagine there was foundation all over my face, okay? So you want to press this onto your skin, right over or right above the setting powder, okay? And then you also want to go like right here, over that area as well. Go here, like that. Press the powder in there firmly. Okay. Alright. And of course, like I said, contour and highlight is supposed to flow. So also press that here. And here. And above your brows, go like this, like a wheel. Go like that. Okay. Go like this. Turn it. Turn it. You press and you turn. You press and you turn. Alright. So you go here. And you'll be like, but Marlene, and we're like getting rid of everything we did. Of course we are. That's the whole point of contour and highlight. Nobody's supposed to know you're doing it. And it looks kind of useless, but that's the way it's supposed to be. You see this? Because when you contour and when you highlight, you're playing with the shadows of your face. Like the thing is, ladies, you have to remember, you are a woman. And I know many of us like RuPaul. We love to watch RuPaul's Drag Race, but they are guys. They're beautiful guys who turn into wonderful, gorgeous looking girls. But in order to do that, they have to exaggerate. And you also have to remember that drag is performed at night in very somber, like nightclubs and stuff. So in order for the person that is way at the bar to see you and to want to come over and tip you, your makeup needs to be very flamboyant and your makeup needs to be seen from very far away. But we are ladies. We naturally have this. Okay, and the makeup we wear it to go to work, we wear it for our husbands, or we wear it to go to church, we wear it to be like, you know, in our community. So it needs to enhance what we have, but it should not make us look crazy. Okay, and that's that. So when you do your contour and your highlight, you are just playing with the dimension, with the structure of your face, but you don't want to go over the top. Everything needs to be subtle. Okay, all right, good. It's so hard now that I'm trying to make these short videos, but I do have to explain it to you guys. You see? So like here, you probably don't even see it anymore, but if you look closely, you can kind of tell that I did something here and I did something there, right? But from afar, it's like, ooh, you can see that I'm just playing with the shadows and the structures and giving my face structure and dimension where it didn't have any, okay? And then when you're done, you can also fluff that out, okay? There's a lot of blending that goes into makeup, not just with your cut crease or whatever, but even with your face, huh? There's a lot of blending. Once you're done, because my face powder, this one, the Matte Velvet, it's light. I always go with light powders because throughout the day, makeup will oxidize and it'll get darker, so go with something a bit lighter. But it's kind of pale. If you look at my face looks a bit pale. So what I like to do, I like to use the Mineralized Skin Finish by MAC. This is in Sun Power. So, and I apply it with this big MAC brush right here. Okay, so take a bit of that, go like this. Okay, and what this does, it just brings some color back into my face. Okay, and it's okay, go here as well. Don't be afraid. Take the Mineralized Skin Finish, take that here in the corners of your face as well. See that? Take it here. So like you're like, ooh, you see? You can kind of see it, but it's not a harsh, right? You see my contour, you see my highlight, but it's not harsh at all. Right? You see that? See? You're just giving your face some, like you're playing with the shadows of your face. Right? And you're still keeping the fact that you are black, African, whatever, and your nose, it is what it is. Okay? What I like about using the mineralized skin finish is that it does bring your skin color back. Okay? It warms up your face. Alright. Okay? I'm going to contour again for what? A second time. And this time I am going to use the Sleek palette. Now this one is in medium. So remember, I'm an NW45. So if you're about my complexion or lighter, you don't want to mess with the dark. The dark is just too dark. Okay. So we'll take this color. Alright. I'm still going to use this brush, which I think is the best one to contour your face. Beauty Essentials. This is sold at CVS. Alright. And take some of the product like that. Okay. And just to make sure that you didn't take too much product, let's just press it on the back of our hands to be sure. Okay. And what you want to do, now make sure the brush, when you press on the hand, make sure the brush is flat. You want all the hairs to be aligned. Okay. Like that. Okay. But this time you want it to be very gentle. Like you don't press hard on the brush. Remember, we're just giving our face some shadows, like that said. We'll go like this. You see? You see it, right? Okay, good. And then blend. See? But this time when you blend, you don't have to blend all the way down, because the work you did prior to doing this is already giving you a shade, like a shadow underneath. So all you have to do is just blend it down just a bit, like this. Just like this. Softly, gently, take your time with that. And you come here and you do the same thing. So now if you want, one thing you can do, you can also highlight the bark of your nose. You can either use like the this color that comes right here. My thing is I don't like the stuff that's too shimmery on the bark of my nose, because I feel as though being oily is just going to be even more shinier. But you can just use a little bit of it, right? Or you can also use Albatross right here. So I'm going to use Albatross. Just take a little bit. Like this, okay? And once again, tap it in the back of your hand to make sure you don't have too much product on the brush. And you can just highlight. Then you want to be very gentle with this. Alright ladies, so that's it. So this was my tutorial on how to contour and highlight for bigger and wider noses. I hope that this video was helpful. Many of you ladies have asked me to do a full face foundation routine. My foundation routine is very long. So I decided to cut it up into pieces, the nose and the cheeks and everything. And then after that, once I'm done, I will have a full face foundation routine video as well. Okay? But it's just nice that you have a video for this and that, this and that. So if you only need something specific, you can just refer to that video. And if you want to see the entire foundation routine, that will be up pretty soon. So guys, thank you so much. If you're not a subscriber of mine, I would appreciate if you subscribe. So hit the subscribe button. Also make sure to follow me on my Facebook page. Like my Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. And I also have a Keek. And yeah, if you have any questions, short questions, please feel free to send me a message on my Facebook page, okay? And that's it. All right, ladies. So remember, contour and highlight. Just make it nice, make it soft. Play with the subtle shadows in your face, and just enhance what you have. All right. So bisous, bisous, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Larry, I'm on the microphone. Larry, I'm on the microphone.
I need that magic.
Actually, it's you, girl, that I have been looking for. That is why today.